So thank you for all giving me the opportunity to speak. I just want to start off with, I knew a student who I was growing up with who went to school like everyone else when it was his time, and he had a rough home situation. He didn't have necessarily the best learning environment at home. He didn't necessarily have the most support from his family, but he found school to be his own getaway from life at home. But the only problem with our school was there was no school nurses, there was no counselors to help support him. The physical education department or classes were basically non-existent, and our cafeteria had we didn't even have a cafeteria, so there was no school services, so the only way he got lunch was from what he made at home by himself. And I ended up talking to this kid after I left the grade school in 8th grade, because it went K through 8, and after he graduated, after I graduated, he was there 2 more years, and he ended up dropping out, and I hadn't heard from him since.